Hey everybody, welcome back to Taka Garage. Today we got the Bronco back here. We're gonna be getting on it again. We're gonna be trying the elusive budget paint job on it. We're gonna try and do it all ourselves here at the house and see what we can make happen. We'll talk about what we're gonna use later when the stuff all comes in. But right now we're just gonna kind of get started on some of the prep work. We probably won't prep it like as good as like if you wanted to show car or anything like that, and we're not going that far with it. It is our off-roader. We know something's gonna happen to it probably at some point, trees, branches, who knows. So we just wanna make it look a little bit better than it does, and since the whole thing's coated in primer anyway, time to spray some paint on it, right? So let's go look at a couple things we're gonna do first. So at some point somebody had primered this and they just kind of sprayed it over everything. You can kind of see right here, there's like, it was like pinstriping that the original had on it, I think. Which you can see over here on the door, I had actually peeled off before. So I've been thinking about doing this for quite a while. So we're gonna try peeling it off the back. It wraps around the back. It does go under it, these over fenders. I don't think we're gonna go as far as to take the fenders off to try to get it. They're not exactly easy to get to fit right back on, but we're gonna get it off all over here though, so that way you can't see it anymore. The other thing, where we had taken some of the stickers off that had like these BFG stickers, again sprayed underneath the primer, we're gonna try to sand this all smooth to where you don't really see it anymore. We got this little rough spot on the hood from where the primer had flaked off. So we just gotta kind of, you know, get in here, sand this all smooth, re-primer it. I got a little bit of that rust converter paint we're gonna toss on that part. And then, I mean, we're just gonna take stuff apart, mask everything off. But first, we're gonna be starting with this sticker back here, which I think is gonna be pretty stubborn. So we just spent some hours. We got this thing all prepped. We've been doing it after work. You can see it's dark outside, so you know we're trying to keep this on kind of on budget and try to be like something everybody could do. So we got everything kind of sanded down. Luckily, this was already just basically primed when we got it. That's how it's always been, this flat black. So we were able to just kind of lightly sand everywhere and just kind of touch it up everywhere. You can kind of see, I don't know if you noticed before, but there was like some like splashes from like us going through mud and stuff like that, and it just kind of, it was almost like a chalkboard to finish on this thing. So it had left all these like splash marks and stuff on it. So I gave it just a nice light coat of primer on all the stuff like that. If you come over here, we'd actually replace it. Had some of these ugly screws in it, so I kind of replaced it with a little bit rounder head, so that way maybe when the paint's on it, maybe it'll look a little bit nicer, you know, round instead of like a squared edge. And put a little primer over all those too, so that way they'll kind of blend in more. And yeah, I think we're pretty much good. We're gonna call it a night for now. We're gonna let it get light out, take another look at the back end of this thing, because you really can't see it right now, and see if we need to touch anything up back there. But other than that, tomorrow night it's on to masking, so that way in the weekend we can get the painting. So we're getting everything masked off to get this thing sprayed in the morning, and I just had to show this stuff to you. I had never actually seen this in the store or anything, but I had kind of seen it like being used on like some videos and stuff. But this is, I got the Scotch Blue pre-taped painter's plastic, and this stuff's awesome. So basically, you put it on your spot where you're using it. I'm using it pretty much on windows, and you unfold it here. And the cool part about it is it seems to have this like like a static cling where when you pull it down, it actually stays stuck to your glass and everything. So it's really easy to work with. This is like some of the coolest stuff I've actually used. Some of you guys might be saying, oh yeah, I've used it, whatever. But I'm super impressed. This stuff's really cool. So if you're ever gonna mask stuff off in like a big area, like a window or something, get this stuff, it's worth it. So even when you get down here and it's a little bit too long, you can just give it your little fold that you need. And it actually stays right there for you. And even like on your corner, you just give it your little fold wherever you need it, and it stays. I think this stuff's really cool. All right, almost time to get this thing in its final spot. Just gotta move some cars out of the way and get to it. All right, so we got it all masked off, we got it all prepped, we got our area kind of taped off as best we can. Now, let's get down to the paint. So now I haven't told you what color we're doing yet. This is where we get to find out. So I read the can, basically wants us to shake it up and then open it, stir it, and then shake it again. So that's what we're gonna do. Actually.
Dented one first?
Yeah, one was dented, so we're gonna use that one first because I have paint left over. I'd rather not be the dented one. All right, we're gonna call that shaken. All right, well, there it is. Kind of in the sun. Let's get this thing stirred up. So we went and got this little stir thing at the store. We'll see how it works. Ooh, this drills really fast, apparently. All right, so that's it sprayed. We did almost 2 gallons on this thing. It looks, you can tell there's a little bit of texture, but at the most part, you know, you take a couple steps back. It looks pretty good. We'll have to see how it dries, if anything like evens out or anything. I did get a couple runs because I was like trying stuff. It's my first time really spraying with this thing. So, so we got that, but you know, who's looking that close anyway, right? Off-roader, right? Anyway, so let's let this thing dry a little bit and then we'll get that tape off. All right, so now we got it all dried, we got all the masking off, but I have noticed it has a lot of texture to the actual paint. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to use some wet sandpaper. I got a little sanding block and stuff, and gonna see if we can't get this thing a little bit smoother so I can then kind of buff it out. I'm okay if it's not perfect. I just kind of want to get a little bit smoother than this, so that way it's, you know, it's easier to wax and all that kind of stuff. So let's kind of see how this goes. All right, so here it is, all done. We got it painted. I wet sanded it, I buffed it, and I'm calling it good enough for now. Basically, we just wanted something to look a little bit nicer that we could take out on the trails and kind of play with, but still look good and wash off pretty easy. That last paint, well, that wasn't really paint, it was primer. You went through a puddle and it was like chalkboard. You just had like splash marks on it forever. So we should have gotten rid of that, and now it's blue. Make sure to stay tuned next time though, because as you can tell, we haven't finished putting this back together, and I got some extra goodies we're going to be throwing on the front for a facelift on this thing too. So stay tuned for that next video, and then following that, we got another road trip back by popular demand. We're doing another trip. This time we're going up to Big Bear. So stay tuned for that. Should be pretty cool. And make sure to like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff, and we'll see you next time on Tackett Garage.